Hey everyone, welcome to InterviewPro. In this video, I'll explain content projection in Angular. We can define HTML template in one component and display it inside another component. This is called content projection. Let's understand this with an example. We have subscribe button. When we click on subscribe button, I want to display a message, you are subscribed to this channel. So let's go to the code. I have already created a component called message using the command nggc. In this HTML, I have a div with bootstrap alerts class. Let's make use of this component in the app component. So let's go back, and the selector for this message component is app-message. Let's make use of the selector app-message. Now I want to display this message only when the user is subscribed. So ng if is subscribed is true. And I want to display a message. What is the message? I'll display it in paragraph. So you have subscribed to this channel. Now let's see what it does in the screen. So if we go back and click on subscribe, we see the div and the class applied to this, but we don't see the message. Previously, when we wanted one component to communicate with another component, we made use of inputs, outputs, attribute binding, and events to do that. The data was either a simple string, number, or a complex object, but we never sent HTML elements, right? So, Angular provides a feature called content projection, which allows us to send the HTML DOM from one component and display it inside other component. This message component will just provide us the outline, the style, the way how you want to look at a component on the screen. So, but the content inside this can be customized, can be decided by the parent component. So in order to send this, you have subscribed the paragraph to this message component, what we can do is we can make use of a selector called ng content. So let's save it, go back to UI. Now if I click on subscribe, you see the content displayed. If I add some more information like you will be notified when a new video is released. Now if we go back and click on subscribe, you see everything that is between these two tags. So this will be projected in the form of ng content. So not every message is this simple. Like we may not want this HTML elements to be rendered as they are. We might want to do some customization. Like for example, we may want to support two elements which will be separated by a HR. So I want the first paragraph to be displayed here, then separated by a line, and then display the second paragraph. So I have added another ng content here. Let's see what happens now. If we go back and click on subscribe, we have a line and then the content is displayed. Then what about this first ng content? So what's happening here is when Angular finds out more than one ng content, it will display the message in the last ng content. If you want to display this first paragraph in the first ng content and the second paragraph in the second ng content, you should have a way to figure out where to display what, right? So every HTML element has a few properties, like it has ID, it has class, or template reference variables. So we can make use of all these. Let's first see how to make use of an ID. So I will say message -1, and the ID of the second paragraph is message -2. Let's make use of these IDs in the message component. ng content has a property called select. And what is our ID? Message -1. And let's copy paste this and paste it in the other ng content. But now here the ID is message 2. Let's see what it does now. If I click on subscribe, I'm not seeing anything because when it's an ID, make sure to provide hash. So IDs are usually accessed using hash. So now if I click on subscribe, you'll see that the first paragraph is rendered in the first ng content. Then we have HR, which is nothing but this line. And then we have the second paragraph, which is rendered by this ng content. Now, what happens if you don't want to use ID, but you want to go with a class? So let me replace ID with a class. Now, if you go to ng content, hash won't work because classes are accessed using dot operator. So if I go back, click on subscribe, I still see the same output. Let's say you don't want to use ID or class because you don't want to add unnecessary properties to your DOM elements, then you can simply make use of attributes. So I can simply give it like this. Now, when it comes to attributes, how do you access attributes inside Angular? Using square brackets. So I'm replacing dot and wrapping it with square bracket. Now if I go back, click on subscribe, I still see the same messages. So this is how you can project the content from one component, which is app component in our case, in another component, which is message component. So you can use this message component anywhere in this application and you can define your own HTML content that will be rendered in this message component in this format. And what's the second point? If you want to render multiple HTML elements or the DOM elements, then you can make use of ID, class, or attributes and make use of the select attribute of ng content to render the respective contents. So this is all about ng content. I hope the concept is clear. If you like the content, please like, share, and subscribe to InterviewPro. Thank you.